a show where we're trying to demystify the digital economy. So we're taking these big questions and these big companies that are so much of a part of our everyday lives and trying to understand how they make money and how they affect us. This project couldn't be more relevant to the stuff that I cover on Marketplace Tech every day, because it's about labor, it's about jobs, and it's about how our economy is going to fundamentally transform. I mean, automation is so inevitable. It is already happening in so many places, and we're seeing this sort of fourth industrial revolution come upon us really, really fast. And I think people and companies and individuals are starting to realize that it could have major changes to the way our society operates and to the way we work, and we have to get ahead of it. Well, what's really fascinating to me about this movie is that, I think there's a couple of ways that people tend to cover technology. They either want to say it's going to kill us all, or they want to say it's going to save us all. And what this movie really tries to do is say, it's here, and how are we going to deal with it? And that is near and dear to my heart. That's exactly how I think we need to be approaching technology, because we control it, and we decide how we're going to react to its impact on our lives. And so I think that's what this documentary is trying to do in a really profound way, and it's just the right way to talk about it. I would say the best thing that you can do as a viewer is to believe this, to take this information and believe that it is true and it is real. These changes are coming, and they are going to be profound and transformative. Nobody is trying to scare anybody with that information, but we have the power to deal with it the right way and to make sure that people in our society are taken care of and have the opportunity to benefit from what technology can bring instead of be harmed by it. Everybody's going to have to be part of this effort. One of the things that this film does so well is take this sort of historical view, this long view of the Industrial Revolution, or what happened when, the cotton gin came along, or the printing press. I mean, we have gone through very profound changes throughout human history, and we have lessons to learn from that. And one of them is that we actually have to do the work. And that means governments are going to have to get involved, individuals are going to have to get involved, companies are going to have to retrain their own employees, and it's going to take an effort by everyone so that people don't get left behind.
CYBERWORK and the American Dream is a one-hour documentary about artificial intelligence and the future of work. What we're hoping to do with the film is to start a conversation about how we can get ready for this important new technology, which is many people consider it to be the new electricity. It will be a big change to our economy, and how do we get ready for it? Well, every time we've been through a big change, and the point we make in the film is we've been through a lot of these before. We've been through these big technological changes, and these changes have changed the economy and jobs in a big way. Half the jobs that existed in the 60s no longer exist. We don't have gas jockeys, we don't have telephone operators, we don't have elevator operators. So like in the past, this is going to change the economy, it's going to change jobs. What's always happened in the past, though, is that more jobs have been created from the new technology than were destroyed by the outgoing technology. There's no guarantees that this will happen again, but we have, one of the things we're trying to make, a point we're trying to make in the film is that we have been through this before. It's always very hard when we go through these transitions, but historically we've always come out better, stronger, and with things like penicillin and airplanes and longer life expectancy.
Well, I think in some ways when we're looking at something like artificial intelligence, I mean, the first examples we have of people being worried about it are Frankenstein, the novelist Mary Shelley. And we're still thinking about Frankenstein today. And I think in many ways it was that first sort of brush with industrialization where people realized, oh my God, what's science leading us to? And is it leading us to complete and utter disaster? So I think one of the really interesting things about the film, for me as a filmmaker, as a historian, was to really talk with the top people in the field of artificial intelligence and just look them straight in the eye and say, you know, are the robots coming and what's that going to be like for the rest of us? So it was a fascinating exploration. Yeah, one of the interesting things, you know, that Jim and I have worked on is, you know, making a documentary and how do you unlock the doors to these people who are doing these amazing things right at the top of our society. But you know, the funny thing is that when one agrees, then the others usually follow. So we were very lucky. You know, I'm based partly at Stanford University, and the artificial intelligence community there and in Silicon Valley, of course, is right at the top. So again, once you get one to go, and actually Jim had the idea, he said, you know, we have got to get Garry Kasparov, because Garry Kasparov was the first man beaten by artificial intelligence, the world chess champion. And I actually thought that was shooting for the moon, because I had lined up a lot of the other folks, because I'm an academic and they'll respond to academics. But Jim said, you know, we have got to talk to Garry Kasparov, and it was fabulous.
Well, what I would love viewers to be able to walk away with after they see CYBERWORK and the American Dream is that fearing technology is not going to help make the transition any easier or produce any different results. It's just going to make us all want to hide in our closets. We've been through these transitions before, and I'm hoping what this documentary does is not put people in a position of fear about technology, but to make them appreciate the benefits that technology have given us since the Industrial Revolution, and also to frame what's most important is that we frame social policies and institutions that are able to help us ease this transition into the new economy. That's what's always worked in the past, and we need to continue to do that. If you talk to computer scientists who work with this technology every day, the idea of a sentient killer robot is so far in the future that they say it's like talking about traffic jams on Mars. It might happen at some point in the future, but not right now. Even the word artificial intelligence is probably a bad word because, you know, when you say to Siri or Alexa, find me something, they're just responding to a command. They're not thinking, they're not intelligent beings. And so I think a lot of fear around these technologies sells a lot of movie tickets, but it doesn't necessarily reflect reality.
I'm scared and excited for the next generation. And I think that's why we made the film, partly because I'm an educator. I teach in a university, and I think to myself, am I doing the right thing? By encouraging people to go to school for 4 years and accumulate debt, are we getting them ready for the future? And I don't think we altogether are. And I think that's part of what we want to do here is we really want to talk honestly with people about what are the best ways to make the future as exciting for the next generation as it has been for previous generations. And the crazy thing is, actually, I say this as a historian. I mean, I talk about things that happened 300, 400 years ago all the time. And what's really amazing is to see how much better and better the world has actually gotten. As much as we think that, and the news is always bombarding us with how rotten things are and how scary the future will be. And you know what? That's mostly not true. And we have to be brave enough to sort of look at all the possibilities.